I'm Hammi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be budgeting for the month of April. So for the month of April, I am budgeting with 60,000 rupees. From my work, the amount is the same. The salary is 32,200 rupees. And let me zoom you in. And from my side income, I am only budgeting out 27,800 rupees. This is because for this year, that's 2024, I have decided to live under my means, and I'm doing that by trying to live within 60,000 rupees each month. If in the future I see that this is not practical for me, I will try to budget with more money, but for the month of April, I want to continue with this because I feel like maybe I'll be able to do that, because in the month of April, I do not have any festivals or anything, and I do not anticipate any expenses. So I am going to stick with this goal of mine to budget within 60,000 each month. So 27,800 plus 32,200 is a total of 60,000 rupees. For my savings and investment, I always take out 10% of whatever amount that I'm budgeting for the month, and I put that into my savings and investment. So 10% of 60,000 will be 6,000 rupees. And into my emergency fund, I always put 2,000 rupees into it each month, because my goal is to deposit 24,000 into my emergency fund in the year 2024. So emergency fund will be getting 2,000 rupees. For my SIP, this year I increased my SIP deposit by 1,000. So each month I am putting 2,000 here, because last year I started depositing into SIP, and last year I started with 1,000, and this year I increased another 1,000. And I would say, like, I should have started investing earlier. So if you're somebody who have not invested, who have not started to invest yet, I would urge you to educate yourself on investing. You don't have to invest a huge sum of money. Just go along with how much you can put away. There are a lot of people who can guide you in YouTube. You can check out Pranjal Kamra. You can check out Akshat Srivastav. Find somebody and start investing, even if it's 100 rupees or 200 rupees or 500 rupees. Now, out of 6,000 rupees, when I have already taken out 4,000, I'm left with 2,000 only, and that will go into my public provident fund. So 2,000, and this will add up to 6,000 rupees. Coming to my fixed cost and utilities, into my insurance I always deposit 2460 each month. When I do my budget for my savings and investment, I always take out 10% of whatever amount I am budgeting with. But when it comes to my fixed costs and utilities, I do not take out a certain percentage. What I do is I budget with whatever is required for these categories, because these are my non-negotiables. These are the things that I have to look after. These are my bills, these are my responsibilities, and I cannot turn away from all these categories. So whatever is needed for the month, I put that amount into these categories, and then I calculate the percentage that is taking up from the amount that I'm budgeting. For my siblings fund, I always deposit 1,000 into it. EMI is a personal loan that I took, and the monthly EMI is 13,615. For my LIC loan, this loan doesn't have a fixed amount that should be put into each month. I have to decide how much I can pay back each month. So I have decided to allocate 1,000 rupees into my LIC loan each month, and then if I have some extra, I will put more into it. If I had more money, I would have put more into it. But because I have to also think about my living expenses for the month, I feel like 1,000 is what I can work with. I don't actually track my debt payment online. But what I'm thinking is, when I'm done with paying off a loan, I will do an update video someday. Since I put only 1,000 or 1,500, the amount is not very big, and that's why I don't update it each month. So coming to the room rent, this is my sister's room rent. My share is 4,500 for the month. Subscription always gets 1,800. Ration for the month is 3,500. Food and groceries will always get 5,000 rupees. And then my clothes category. Last month I had a category that said personal. where I allocated 3,000 each month. And that time I said that this will be for my clothes and for my monthly facial that I get. But what I found was when I mix up my clothes money and something else, I don't buy any clothes. And since I go to work every day, 6 days a week, twice a day, because I work in a government hospital and then in the evening I work in my own clinical setup. So I go to work twice a day and I need clothes to wear, and I'm somebody who forgets to buy clothes, and then I only remember that I don't have clothes when I'm going out. So I don't want to be doing that. I know that dressing up is important. It may sound vain to a lot of people when I say that, but from my own experience, I feel like when you hold a certain position, when you are working as a professional, you also need to dress accordingly. So I want to focus more on dressing up well. I don't mean to spend a lot of money on it, but then I want to be presentable. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's why from this month on, I am not doing the personal category anymore. And this month on, I have renamed it into clothes. And this will be purely for clothes, nothing else. Be it work clothes or whatever, but this is for my clothes category. And I am allocating 2,500 into it this month. I want to be putting away 3,000 or 3,500, but then for starters, 2,500 is okay for me. So when we add all this up, I have already done the math, so I won't be calculating it again. The total is 38,375 rupees. So the beginning was 60,000 rupees, and then if I subtract 6,000 from here, I had a balance of 54,000, and if I subtract 38,375, I have a remaining balance of 15,625 rupees. Coming to my sinking funds, car maintenance will be getting 1,000, health and medical will be getting 500, pets will be getting 1,000, and then vacation will be getting 500 rupees. So this adds up to 3,000 rupees. And how I've come up with this number is, for my sinking funds, I always put away 5% of my income into it, and 5% of the amount that I'm budgeting with is, I'm not saying income because this is not the actual income. I've earned more than this, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to live within 60,000 rupees, and therefore whatever is remaining, I'm keeping that aside as a buffer in my checking account. And in the end of the month, if there is any money remaining in the buffer category, that will go into my LIC loan. That's what I'm planning. It doesn't always work out in the way I plan, but having a plan is important as well, because then I can work with something, work towards something. So that's the plan for now. March definitely didn't work out that way, but I'm starting again in the month of April. So now from 15,625, if I subtract 3,000, I am left with 12,625 rupees. And this 12,625 rupees is what will go into my guilt-free spending. 12,625. Guilt-free spending covers eating out. This is something that I do a lot. So it will cover my eating out. It will also cover my skincare products. I am not a makeup person. I don't do any makeup, but I think I'm one of those person who does a lot of skincare more than makeup. I like to get a facial every month. I also buy a lot of moisturizers and creams and sunscreen. So yeah, that will be covered from my guilt-free spending category. Also, this will cover going out with friends, going for a movie, buying books, giving and gifting, for things like that. Now, when we come to the percentage distribution, savings and investment, I always put away 10%. So this, I know that this is 10%. And then for my sinking funds category, I always put 5% into it. And this is something that I do intentionally. Now coming to my fixed costs and utilities, let's find out how much is the percentage. 38,375 divided by 60,000. That is around 63%. So if savings and investment is 10%, fixed cost and utility is 63%, and sinking fund is 5%, then we are left with 22% for guilt-free spending. So I try to budget using the conscious spending plan, and according to the conscious spending plan, Ramit Sethi says that into fixed costs and expenses, we should try to cover that up within 50 to 60% of income. And for investment, he says to put away 10% of income, and for savings he says 5 to 10% of income, and for guilt spending 20 to 35% of income. So when it comes to fixed costs and utilities, it's a little bit more than what he said. And he also says that if you see that your fixed costs and utilities is more than 60%, you need to increase your income. I have an income that's more than 60% in reality, but I have intentionally choose to budget with only 60,000 rupees. So I'll see for the month of April if 60,000 doesn't work for me, and before the month ends I have to take out money from buffer, then from next month on I'll try to budget with more than 60, like say 65 or 64,000. So this is all that I have for today. I hope to see you soon in my next video. Until then, take care and bye bye.